All right, thank you to the Gagi Gayakwe Drum Group and the Honor Guard for being here and participating in this event today. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Luke Warrenschultz, and I'm the Executive Director here at Bois Forte. I am pleased and honored and welcome everybody to Bois Forte Band of Chippewa 2024 State of the Band. Thank you for being here in person and for everyone that is live for participating and lending your expertise and time to attend our State of the Band. We are gathered an impressive lineup of individuals that have taken the time and effort to participate in our event today. I would like to give a huge shout out and thank the Fortune-based staff, tribal government employees, dignitaries, and community members for going the extra mile to make this event happen today. I would also like to thank these individuals for being in attendance. Valentina M. Janey, Treasurer of the Prairie Island Indian Community, Kimberly Mackey, St. Louis County Attorney, Paul McDonald, 4th District Commissioner of St. Louis County, District Representative Roger Scraba, Ida Rukavina, Commissioner of the IRRB, Grant Hochschild, Minnesota Senator, and Eugene Standing Cloud, District Representative of Red Lake Nation. Again, thank you for all attending our State of the Band. I do want to say one thing is when we're performing videos, just please no videos during the drum. We would really appreciate it for the welcoming song for dinner. But we will kick off the event with an opening invocation from our spiritual advisor, Vernon Adams. Range of topics that will be discussed today at the band's 2023 year in the progression of the band moving forward by Chairwoman Kathy Chavers, Secretary Treasurer Tara Gizek, District 1 Representative Shane Drift, District 1 Representative Travis Morrison, and District 2 Representative Robert Moyer. Before the Tribal Council comes up to speak, we will first start off with an introduction of all of our dignitaries. We will do them all at once, and they're all on Zoom. We would like to introduce Governor Tim Walz, Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, Senator Tina Smith, Senator Amy Klobuchar, and Representative of the 8th District, Pete Stauber.
Hello, everyone. Governor Tim Walz here. I'd like to start off by thanking Chairwoman Shavers for her continued partnership. I'm proud to call her my friend. And thank you to the Bois Forte Tribal Council for your partnership with our administration. We know that the key building blocks for government-to-government relationships and what they look like: promoting the health, the safety, and well-being of Native youth, family, and communities; protecting the environment; investing in economic development, infrastructure, and the growth of tribes; supporting Native students, teachers, and American Indian education; and respecting tribal sovereignty, investing in tribal nations, and creating systemic changes in state government. This year, we have a lot to celebrate together, including expanded access to tribal nations aids, because it's important to provide more direct funding to our tribal partners. And I'd just like to say, that is something that was a top priority of Chairwoman Shavers. It's something she advocated for, and because of her leadership, it's getting done. In 2024, I look forward to working with your community leaders to learn how we can do better as we continue to strengthen our relationships with tribal nations across Minnesota. Thank you.
Buju, Peggy Flanagan, Indigenous, Gijuwe Wadamo Indigo, Guabagagani Cognin Dunjaba, Mayangan Indodame. Peggy Flanagan here also speaks with a clear and loud voice woman. I'm a member of the White Earth Nation and my family is the Wolf Clan. I'd like to start off by acknowledging Chairwoman Shavers' leadership. She leads by example, always pushing to ensure Native voices are heard, especially those of women. I'm also grateful for the Bois Forte Tribal Council and all those who worked in tribal government to lift up the community. Since our first day in office, Governor Walz and I have made building and sustaining relationships with tribal nations a top priority. We build these strong relationships so that we can celebrate together when we have wins. And team, this is a moment where there's a lot to celebrate. We've worked hard to make sure that people across the administration consider tribal impacts when we create policy, from investing in projects on and off tribal lands to creating access to tribal government aid. Because we know that the best solutions for tribal nations come from tribal nations. Our administration knows that these wins don't happen without you, our tribal partners. And we know that there is much more work to be done together in collaboration, and we look forward to it. Chimigwech for your partnership. See you soon. Gigawabamin.
Bonjour, Bois Forte band members and leadership. I'm U.S. Senator Tina Smith, and I'm happy to be able to join you today. And I'm sorry that I can't be with you in person this year. Our government-to-government relationship is one of the most important aspects of my job. And in this new year, I look forward to continuing to work with my friend, Chair Kathy Chavers, and all of you to make progress on tribal sovereignty. As your United States Senator, it's my job to respect and protect your agency to make decisions that are in the best interests of your people. Together, we need to continue to hold federal agencies accountable for their obligations and responsibilities to Indian country. I benefit every single day from my close relationship with Chair Chavers. Kathy, we have known each other for many years, and I deeply respect your leadership of Bois Forte, the Minnesota Chippewa tribe, and for all Native peoples across the country. This year, I'm excited to see your broadband project come to fruition. I know that Director Randy Long has been hard at work on this project, which will bring high-speed internet to so many people, businesses, and services in your community. One of the best parts of my job is to help bring federal dollars back to tribes, and I look forward to seeing how this project benefits your people and community. We will continue to work together in the coming year on many projects that improve life and opportunity for Bois Forte band members and your community. And always, the foundations for our shared work are the core values of tribal sovereignty, self-governance, and our nation-to-nation relationship. I'm thankful to represent a place of Native strength, resilience, and power, and the opportunities that lie ahead. I wish all of you a fantastic State of the Band and look forward to seeing you all again soon. Miigwech for having me.
Hello to everyone gathered for the Bois Forte Band of Chippewa State of the Band address. I wish I could be there with you in person, but there's just a few things keeping us busy in Washington. Thank you to Chairwoman Shavers for your more than 3 decades of incredible leadership and service to the band, and to your Secretary Treasurer, Tara Gishek, and District Representatives Travis Morrison, Shane Drift, and Robert Moyer. This annual event demonstrates your strength and your deep dedication to improving the lives of your members. It shows a commitment to making every year better than the last. I've always believed that Minnesota's vitality comes from the diversity of our people. Our state owes so much to the Bois Forte Band. You have strengthened our economy with your businesses like the Wilderness Golf Course. You have kept your band's traditions alive, from tapping maple trees to holding powwows and sacred ceremonies to, of course, harvesting Minnesota wild rice. And you're an advocate for issues like treaty rights, economic development, and sovereignty. That's why throughout my time in the Senate, I fought to make sure your voice is heard. Our tribal nations have a unique and sacred government-to-government relationship with the U.S. that is deeply rooted in treaties, the law, and the Constitution. This relationship demands an unwavering federal commitment to giving our tribal nations the support they need to thrive for generations to come. That means building out our tribal nations' infrastructure, which is why I secured significant federal funding for your band to build a new transit facility. This will mean critical investments in your transit infrastructure, from a new bus wash to a maintenance bay to a new solar power generation system. These upgrades will ensure band members can safely and reliably move about between work, school, and home. While investing in our tribal nation's physical infrastructure is important, we can't talk about infrastructure without talking about broadband. As co-chair of the bipartisan Senate Broadband Caucus, I've always believed that if they can have high-speed internet in Iceland, a country with active volcanoes that spew lava, maybe, just maybe, we can get it for our tribal nations. 18% of people on tribal lands don't have broadband, compared to just 4% elsewhere. That gap is unacceptable. This isn't just about streaming a new miniseries. It's about local businesses reaching customers, patients accessing healthcare, and students succeeding in school. I'll always remember hearing from a tribal member who told me that when they got Wi-Fi at their home, kids from the neighborhood would gather in the front yard so they could do their homework. That's why I successfully fought to secure historic investments to deliver high-speed internet to every zip code in America, including a game-changing $650 million grant to build up broadband access across Minnesota. That funding also provides financial support for families with lower incomes, including as much as $75 a month for tribal members. But there's still more work to do, and that's why I'm going to keep fighting for making sure that all of our tribal nations can get connected and thrive. Throughout my time in the Senate, it's been a privilege to work with and learn from you. One of the Chippewa philosophies that has always resonated with me is the belief that great leaders make decisions not just for today, but for 7 generations from now. That's why, as we look ahead to the new year and the years to come, I'm committed to continuing to work with you, government to uplift Minnesota's tribal nations and ensure tribal sovereignty is recognized and respected. Thank you for all the work you do. I look forward to visiting you soon. Enjoy the rest of the event.
Hello everyone, Congressman Pete Stauber here. I'm sorry that I could not join you today. Due to the House vote schedule, I'm here in Washington, D.C. I want to congratulate Tribal Chair Kathy Chavers, the Tribal Council, and all the members of the Bois Forte Band of Chippewa on all that you have been able to accomplish in 2023. The Bois Forte plays such an important role in our way of life in northern Minnesota, and it's my honor to represent you all in the United States Congress. The future of the Bois Forte Band is bright, and I am confident that you are all in good hands under the leadership of Tribal Chair Chavers and your Tribal Council. I look forward to the opportunity to visit with you all either here in Washington or back home in Minnesota.
Thank you for all the dignitaries for the introductions. So before the tribal council comes up, I really had to think about this speech last night. I never got the opportunity to introduce myself presently last year, so I would like to do that today. My name is Luke Warrenschultz, and I'm currently Executive Director of Bois Forte, but there's a story of how I got standing here today. Each one of us in the room and the person sitting next to you, all of us have a story of why we are here today. I am an enrolled member of White Earth Nation. I grew up in Mahnomen. There was a post actually that popped up on my phone that happened 10 years ago, so I'd like to share that. I was a good student while attending Mahnomen High School. I was involved with many activities, including football, basketball, student council, FFA, FCA, and the list goes on and on. I always dreamed of going to school with my friends in the Fargo-Moorhead area and actually just getting a college degree. In January of 2014, I was informed by Minnesota State University Moorhead that I didn't get accepted due to a lower ACT score. Granted, I was a 3.6 student, but since I had a lower ACT score, I could not get into college where my friends were attending. I remember filling out FAFSA and teachers of Mahnomen High School laughing at me, saying that I would be wasting $50,000 on college because I couldn't do it. And at that time, I believed them. When you tell someone something for so long, they start to believe it. Fast forward 10 years, and now currently in my last year of graduating with my Doctor of Business Administration degree and working with White Earth Natural Resources, Shooting Star Casino, Taro Housing, White Earth Tribal College, San Manuel Band of Mission Indians, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and many more tribal organizations throughout the nation. That popped up 10 years ago. And a lot can change in 10 years. So on your drive home, I want all of you to think about your story and how far you've come throughout your life and the challenges that each and every single one of you have had to face being here today. There are future senators, council members, lawyers, doctors, and many professionals sitting in this room today. I want to challenge you that you can do it. In tribal self-governance and goals for many centuries to come. I'm excited to see where we all go in the future together. Thank you. Now we will get started with the Bois Forte Tribal Council's address. I will please welcome District 1 Representative Travis Morrison to the stage, please.
So even though you didn't get any, you are included in the spirit dish. Oh, yeah.
Good afternoon. I'm Travis Morrison, the District 1 representative. My little speech is going to be just more of a welcome than anything. You know, I've been sitting on a tribal council. It'll be this summer. I'll be my end of my eighth year, and I chose not to run again, mainly due to personal reasons. But it's been a great 8 years. You know, we had our ups and our downs and our difficulties and our triumphs. And it's going to be the same thing going down the road. We're going to have our ups and downs no matter what. And I'd just like to welcome everybody and say miigwech for being here. Miigwech.
Thank you, Representative Morrison. Next up is Representative Robert Moyer.
Hello, everybody. I did write a speech. It's, chicken scratch and stuff. I hope I can read what I need to say and stuff, but bear with me. It'll be quick and painless, hopefully. So I'd just like to say welcome to all here in attendance. My name is Robert Moyer, Jr. I'm the Vermilion representative on Bois Forte Tribal Council, District 2. It's been a quick and busy year and a half in this position. I'd like to say thank you to all the band members here and online for participating in this year's State of the Band address. I'd also like to thank staff for Bois Forte Tribal Government, Fortune Bay, and all the employees that make this all come together. All of you make this possible and provide great services to all our people. In my eyes, I see Bois Forte with a bright future for many generations to come. Vermilion Public Works Food Shelf is one of the projects that will be coming forward, and I'm very proud that is going to be here. We need the space, we need the food shelf. I love it. The services it will provide and space will be an asset for Bois Forte for many years to come. Thank you to all of you. Have a great time, and I hope the food is good.
Thank you, Representative Moyer. Next, we would like to welcome Representative Shane Drift.
They said it when I was walking through the tables there. They said that's all you could see was my hat going by. All right, before we get started, I've always wanted to do this ever since I've been on tribal council, is that I've always wanted to take a picture of the group here looking at you guys. So I'm going to do that if you'll indulge me on this. If everybody on this side of the room can move over here.
Take a selfie, Shane.
I'm not that tall, Luke. You put it up too high. All right. Bonjour. Zaga Wininiwag band members. Shane and Dishina Kaz. Asabi ko na saga iganing and doon jaba. Adik and doon dam. Mino wabi. Gian akina. Nungum. I would like to welcome you to our Bois Forte 2024 State of the Band. It's good to see you all. First off, I would like to say thank you to our Fortune Bay Resort and Casino employees, supervisors, managers, directors, and acting general manager for the long hours, hard work, service, and dedication to our casino. It's all because of you that the tribe is able to fund various programs that benefit and serve our band members. I would also like to say thank you to our Executive Secretary, Nikki Irving, and Executive Assistant, Regina Howe, and our IT department, Randy Long, Eddie Chavers, Everett, and Noah for doing an awesome job with the 2024 Bois Forte State of the Band. Chimigwetch to our spiritual advisor, honor guard, and drum group. You guys did an awesome job. Miigwetch. And also, thank you to Luke for being our Masters of Ceremonies today. Miigwetch. Now, before I get into my speech, I want to share a little story with you. On my drive over here, I called my girlfriend, Christina, and she knew that I was a little nervous about my speech. And she goes on to say, don't try to be witty, charming, or intellectual. Just be yourself, sweetie.
That's your girlfriend?
No. In the words of Rodney Dangerfield, no respect, no respect. Now, on to my speech. First and foremost, as the District 1 representative, I'm here to serve you, the Bois Forte band members. I take my job and responsibilities very seriously. There have been times when I have voted in solidarity with the Tribal Council. There have been times when I've been outvoted or stood alone on issues. I can tell you without hesitation that being a tribal leader is all about you, the Bois Forte band members, our employees, our programs, our services, our elders, our tribal businesses, and our future. As a tribal leader, my priorities are transparent. I have demonstrated that time and again through my actions. When the tribe received the ARPA funding, we were asked to put together a wish list. One of the things I put on that wish list was a traditional roundhouse in that lake. I would like to thank Carol Burr and Doris Isham for working on that. I hope to have the roundhouse built before my term is done in 2026. Now, regarding our language, culture, and traditions, I have been pushing for a meeting with our employees that work with the language, the culture, and the traditions in hopes of streamlining a plan to produce more fluent speakers of the Anishinaabe-Mowin. As my Auntie Karen always says, you need to hear the language every day. And she is absolutely right. The Tribal Council has to do everything to ensure that there will be more fluent speakers while preserving what language we have left. I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the following people that speak and teach the Anishinaabe-Mowin. Vern Adams, Jalen Strong, Ron Boge, Karen Drift, and Perry Drift. Shimigwech for everything that you guys are doing. With any tribal council, you're going to have disagreements. You're also going to have arguments. Some band members have stated, we heard that the tribal council is always fighting. Well, speaking for myself, I'm fighting for the rules and policies to apply fairly and equally across the board. I'm fighting to stop the policies and rules from being bent for certain individuals. That does not serve our best interest. I have said it before, and I'll say it again. The old ways of doing business is not in our best interest. We need to change. We need to evolve for the better. When I was first elected to Tribal Council back in 2018, the Tribal Council met with the tribe's lobbyist at the Wilderness. I brought up approaching the state of Minnesota about increasing the 1854 treaty payments. The tribe's lobbyist advised against it because the state wasn't in a good position financially. Once the state had a surplus, that's when I asked for a discussion to be added to the 1854 Treaty Authority Board meeting, and it was put on the agenda. That happened when the previous council was in office at that time. Nothing happened at that meeting. I asked for a discussion, another discussion, to be added to the 1854 Treaty Authority Board meeting, again, when the new council was sworn in. This is when the ball got rolling for that. This is the second year that Bois Forte band members will receive an increase to the 1854 treaty payments. The tribe will have to negotiate with the state of Minnesota to make the 1854 treaty payment increase permanent. Senator Grant Hochschild attended the last 1854 Treaty Authority Board meeting in Duluth. I asked Senator Hochschild how the 1854 treaty payment increase looked, and he stated that it looked good. So I'm hopeful that it's going to go through and become permanent, because you, the band members, deserve it. It has been 170 years since Bois Forte signed the 1854 treaty. In 170 years, Bois Forte has lost access to 80% of the 1854 treaty area. Looking 170 years into the future, Bois Forte won't have anything left of the 1854 treaty area, and that is scary. This is why I keep pushing for this. I keep trying to protect our treaty area because it's getting smaller and smaller and becoming more polluted. And that's a huge concern for me as the District 1 representative. When Bois Forte has the tribal consultations with the state, I have addressed this with various state departments and pointed out that we as Bois Forte have lost over 80% access to 1854 treaty area. Now, regarding our 1866 treaty, the 1866 treaty, Article 1 reads, "The peace and friendship now existing between the United States and said Bois Forte bands of Indians shall be perpetual." So with that, we need to change the tribe's official seal back to the original design. We also need to work on changing the name so that it reads Bois Forte Bands of Chippewa, or we change it to Bois Forte Bands of Indians per the 1866 treaty. It's my understanding that the 1866 treaty does not grant us treaty rights. However, the 1866 treaty does not take them away either. When the tribes met with Governor Welch this past summer, I brought up the 1866 treaty and I asked if the state of Minnesota could help Bois Forte establish the 1866 treaty rights. I also asked Senator Hochschild at the 1854 meeting in Duluth. Something I need to point out, something I need to stress. Our people were hunting, fishing, and gathering in an 1866 treaty area long before it was a treaty area or even a treaty. Our people continued to hunt, fish, and gather in the 1866 treaty area after the treaty was signed. Our people understood that the 1866 treaty as a means to continue the traditional way of life of hunting, fishing, and gathering. We as Bois Forte need to get the 1866 treaties rights established for you, the band members, and our future generations. When the Tribal Council first received the Eveleth gas station proposal, I was in full support of it. When I learned that the gas station location changed, I informed the council that I was against the gas station. I also informed the band members on my group page. Our casino would have been stuck with paying the loan payments while keeping the gas station afloat. This would have been another financial burden placed on our casino. I'm glad that the council agreed not to go ahead with the Eveleth gas station. I have always said that we as Bois Forte need to expand beyond gaming. I sincerely hope that you, the Bois Forte band members, approve the marijuana business. Now, regarding the marijuana business, the tribe will have to get a loan to build a marijuana business and growing facility. I made the following recommendations to the tribal council regarding the marijuana business. I recommended the following: provide payments to the band members, put payments into our children's trust accounts, pay off all loans as soon as possible before the market plateaus. And also that when the tribe goes forward to the state to negotiate a marijuana compact, that we asked for the payments to be non-taxable and not counted as income, so that doesn't affect band members' public assistance. And the last thing I asked for was to put out financial statements on how the business is doing to you, the Bois Forte band members. I would like to take this time to commend Wendy Drift. She runs our Duluth urban office, and also Jackie Wilson. She runs our Minneapolis urban office. These two ladies are doing an awesome job in serving our band members. Talking with Wendy about the homeless situation and lack of housing in Duluth is a huge concern for me as the District 1 representative. I shared an idea with the Tribal Council, the Executive Director, and the Health and Human Services CEO. The idea that I shared was for the tribe to either build or buy a building in Duluth and the Twin Cities area where the first floor is used for programs and services for our band members and other people. The upper floors could be apartments for our band members. The tribe could also put the urban offices in these facilities. This would help out the tribe financially. You know, as we start to wind down the school year, our kids that are going to be graduating and those that are looking to go on to college, and I must commend them, each and every one of them, for that. It's been my strong belief that the kids are our future. I believe that so strongly that I asked the Tribal Council back in 2022 to put an ARPA payment into the kids' trust account because I knew that would benefit them later on down the road. That didn't happen. If we don't change, if we don't evolve, a better and brighter future is getting further and further away from us, while our financial means to build a better and brighter future is getting less and less. We need to do everything we can do to ensure that our band members, our children, our elders, all have a better and brighter future. As I start to wind my speech down, I'd like to point out that if I do not know about a situation or problem, I cannot address it. That if you know about a situation and problem, please bring it to my attention and I will address it, regardless. And I would like to thank the band members that have shared their ideas, concerns, and problems with me. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our Bois Forte tribal government employees, our Nut Lake C-Store employees, the Y Store employees, and the Wilderness employees for all your hard work and dedication to the Bois Forte Band. To my fellow tribal council members, there have been times when the tribal council worked as a collective, and it felt good. I even stated that in our group text. I sincerely hope that we as a tribal council can build on that. We need to build on that. In closing, I sincerely hope that you all get back home safely. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the 2024 Bois Forte State of the Band. Mio, miigwech.
Thank you, Representative Drift. Next, I would like to welcome Secretary Treasurer Tara Gijek.
A little bit shorter always. Okay. Anin, Buju, Terra, Indigenous, Dik Indundem, Asbikine Zagegan, Indunjaba, Miigwech, Gibija Oma. I said my name is Tara. I'm from Caribou Clan. I'm from Net Lake, and thank you for coming. Well, good afternoon. Welcome. Miigwech for joining us today for the 2024 State of the Band Address. This weather is sure different. Boy, I don't know. And climate change seems to be knocking on our door. I'm an environmentalist, and boy, I can feel it. It's been such an honor to serve as Secretary Treasurer for the Bois Forte Band for the past 1 year, 6 months, and 23 days. And yes, I am a numbers person. I fit right in with the accounting, although I display more of a hands-on approach and communicate with our Chief Financial Officer, our CFO, a bit more, being very pesky about this report or where are we on this process. I'm in it. I participate in accounting's weekly department meetings when I can, and I think they enjoy the company when I waltz in. Everybody is so busy. I really appreciate all the staff, not just accounting. I've been very involved in as many programs as I can, whether it be strategic planning, brainstorming, offering guidance, or just showing up for events and volunteering any resources that I can. The one thing that sticks out for me, number one, is language. I've made our Anishinaabe Moin a top priority. As tribal council members, we must lead by example and learn our language, advocate for and provide funding for our language and promote it in a continual basis, daily. I have worked persistently to support our language and preserve our heritage. I've taken both Jalen Strong and Perry Drift's classes even before I was elected to Tribal Council and have participated in several of their events, which were awesome. Although I acknowledge more support is needed in the urgency to relearn our language and culture, I think that it is apparent that we need to start now and support all these individuals in what they're doing. The work that complements language and culture is the substance use prevention and behavioral health programs. Miigwech to Squidge, Jenna Lee, Aaron, Kristen, Katie, John, and the many more community members that keep these programs and services thriving. And Miigwech to the community volunteers and powwow committee members who work with and provide support to these staff members. Sometimes it's a thankless job and such a beautiful passion project to be involved in. I want to continue to show up when I can and support your beautiful, beautiful work. I appreciate it. Next, my goals for the band are to have 7th generational thinking. Take us from a standard approach to a nation building approach. Provide a data collection driven mindset for leaders and provide up-to-date software and implementation. We are halfway through our financial software project and plan to have live demos soon, and our goal is to be fully implemented on January 1st, 2025. That's rolling pretty quick. It will have an accounting and HR platform which will provide better real-time data and information, accuracy, efficiency, and bring us into a new era of better and enhanced financial accounting capability. We need that. Another enhancement is workforce development. It has taken off like a rocket. Our new 477 program has had several events providing a much needed roadmap incorporating leadership, education, and real world skills for our band membership. Not only has our director of department band membership increased since I started, which was a goal of mine, but food sovereignty and climate change and resiliency are now at the forefront of Indian country. That's really good. Lots of money coming down. I love that our programs, again, Squidge, Jenna Lee, Warren, DNR, and them Zapata ladies, I'm really impressed with them, are immersed in seeking grant funding to tackle those needs. Another goal I have, I continue with is leadership and training. I'll list them. Not only have I promoted training for employees, and HR has been able to implement that, such as the first time ever Supervisory 101 training for new managers and directors. That is presented once a month. Here's another one, a work environment training that tackled the difficult subjects of dealing with harassment, workplace bullying, and a toxic work environment. So we armored our employees to make sure that doesn't happen or continue to happen. But I've participated in a tribal justice system strategic planning process, a tribal finance pilot project, being a member of its first cohort by the Native Governance Center. Another training, first ever DISC training for Bois Forte Tribal Council and the Executive Director. That's a comprehensive communication and reinforcement training. Council has never had that special training alone by themselves with another executive director. The reason I wanted that, the reason I sent it through and gave a directive for it is because we are the top tribal leaders, council and executive director. If we can't communicate effectively, then why are we here? That will trickle down throughout the tribal government. That's why I wanted to start with us. Okay, and we got tribal state relations training. I've been to that. An emerging leaders seminar for newly elected leaders. Robert and I attended that. Band member retention committee and employee surveys to identify problems and solutions for those problems. I've always made our strategic plan a priority, having reminded the Tribal Council of the importance of updating our mission and vision statements. They are paramount in moving us forward into the decades to come. I don't like to take credit for a lot, but please indulge me on this one. I've been told I'm the compass that holds us, the Tribal Council, together and to be focused on task and bringing us back to policy and following resolution, encouraging all our council members to think for themselves and emerge as the leaders they know they can be. So in closing, my goals not only focus on bringing us into a new age of technology, being fiscally responsible, accurate, and current. I want to create other strong leaders within the band, which strengthens our future. I truly believe in our people. Don't count us out yet. We will be here for the next 7 generations. Miigwech. If I've forgotten to mention any programs, sorry, or folks, please forgive me. Safe travels, Gigagwabaman.
Thank you, Secretary Treasurer Gizek. Now, for the State of the Band address, I would like to welcome Chairwoman and also President of MCT, Catherine Chavers.
The only time I got called Catherine was when I was in trouble. Anyway, Anin Buju, Magizi Makwai Kwe Indigenous Cause, Mino Gijigad Nungum. Welcome everyone to the 2024 Bois Forte State of the Band address. I would like to say Chimegwich to the drum group, our Ogichida, our warriors, our veterans, and our guest speakers and guests. I would personally like to also say Chimegwich to the honored guests here in attendance today as well. It warms my heart and is very much appreciated to see all of you here. Also to those attending on Teams, welcome as well. Before I begin this speech, I want to take this opportunity to state that Bois Forte has great staff. And I'm talking not just tribal government, but all businesses and everything. Their dedication and hard work to provide programs and services to our people here in the North, in Duluth, and the Twin Cities. They are the unsung heroes in my eyes. I wanted to let them all know how appreciated you all are and keep up the great work. As an example of their great work, Bois Forte has received over $96 million in grants and other funding over the past 3 years. Quite an accomplishment, I think, for a very small tribe with limited staff. Give them a hand. As I think about our past year, I see the tremendous progress that the Minnesota tribes have made regarding amending or changing laws and educating by telling our story over and over and over again. This work and dedication by the tribes is beginning to have an impact in various ways. One example is the new Minnesota state seal and flag. These were somewhat offensive to the tribes, and by working together, we can get those issues addressed, even if it is just one small step at a time. Also, we worked on the historic Memorandum of Understanding signed between the Grand Portage, Fond du Lac, and Bois Forte bands that reside in the 1854 area, and the U.S. Forest Service to work side by side instead of one ahead of the other or one not even being involved. By educating the U.S. Forest Service on our 1854 treaty area, the Lutsen Mountain expansion of 600 acres did not happen. This area has the largest maple sugaring maple stand in the state of Minnesota. The U.S. Forest Service didn't know that. Plus, there's other unique traditional medicines that are on certain areas in that Lutsen area that they wanted to use for a parking lot or expansion. Well, we stopped that. And the U.S. Forest Service listened to what we had to say. Because like as Shane has mentioned about the 1854 area, we don't have much left. The Brackeen versus Holland case, as an example, was at the Supreme Court and ruled in favor of the Indian Child Welfare Act and the tribes. And it's solidified tribal sovereignty. Minnesota legislature did an awesome job by incorporating the Indian Child Welfare Act into the Minnesota Indian Family Preservation Act, just in case the Supreme Court weighed the other way. We were very thankful for that because that action by our legislature only had one opposing vote. When you think of how big our legislature is, that's a huge accomplishment and a great thank you to the legislators for listening to the tribes. Another change that we did not have any input on but that's okay because it kind of turned out really good, is that it's giving us great power as tribal people, and that is the redistricting of District 8. District 8 in the state of Minnesota has now all 7 Ojibwe tribes in that district. We weren't all there before, but we all are here now. And our native vote, a lot of you may not know that, but our native vote is very influential in making decisions and helping elect the right leaders to get our laws passed, our amendments passed, and get that funding. But it also, we can determine the outcome of elections, and that was shown in the Obama election. That was shown in the Obama election. And we can have an impact on all the state and federal levels as well as local levels, even township, whatever it may be. But I challenge all of you here tonight and throughout the state, all tribal members throughout the state, to please get out and vote this fall in the upcoming election. Tribes have been acknowledged and we can't go backwards. Please vote, and your vote does count. We need that leadership even from the higher levels as the President of the United States. As I mentioned, tribal leaders past and present have worked diligently to tell our story again and again. I can tell you that we are being heard by educating decision makers, legislators, counties, and outside agencies. We have seen more funding historically than ever as tribes. One pondering question that tribal leaders have, and even myself as your chairperson, is why isn't this being taught in our schools? Why isn't our history being taught to our children in our schools? The social studies standards come up every 10 years for review and comments. It came up this past year, and we have made sure to have comments in this public comment period to address the teaching of our history. By having our story told in the schools, being told to all the young people will help years down the road for future tribal leaders, as others will know why we are the way we are, why our environment means so much to us, why our land and water means so much to us, and actually where we came from. Our natural resources are so important to who we are. Indian education was supported this past year at the legislature, and that is a wonderful start to be improving not only future leaders of the tribes, but also the citizens of the state of Minnesota to know the true history of our Anishinaabe relatives and families. As we know from last year also, Minnesota had a really nice surplus of money. The tribes received funding that we have never received in the past. Aid to tribal government was mentioned by some of our guests on their videos, and this is a total amount of $35 million that will go to tribes that want to participate annually, and it's comparable or the same to the aid money that has been distributed to counties and cities for many, many years. Now tribes are finally getting that money, and we're very thankful for that because it's been a long time coming. The best part of this money, it has no restrictions or ties to it and can be spent how the tribes choose to spend it. There was increased funding for homelessness. Tribal probation also was included. Housing, Head Start and broadband. Bois Forte's Fiber to Home project, as an example, is nearing completion, and high-speed internet is now available to band member homes in Net Lake and Vermilion and Indian Point. We are now expanding that access even further to incorporate our neighbors in the Greenwood Township, Cook and Orr. Neighbors helping neighbors. One of the most important increases was made to the 1854 base payment. Since its inception, when it began, the base payment of the agreement with the state was at $1.6 million per tribe, which was for each Bois Forte, Grand Portage, and Fond du Lac. Fond du Lac pulled out of the agreement, so that left just Bois Forte and Grand Portage. The remaining payment calculation is by a formula based on licenses purchased and so on. Chairman Robert Deschamps and I testified before the legislative committees to advocate for an increase to the base as inflation costs and other costs have risen, and there has not even been a single slightest increase to our treaty payment. We are very pleased that the legislature passed a bill to increase that base payment, and we are also working to negotiate with the DNR to fund future years out of their budget for this increased payment. We will get back to you on that because we're still in a negotiating process, but you can make darn well sure that we're going to make sure that we get what's coming to us. Our Net Lake Dam project was completed, and we saw, for those of you that went out ricing, we saw one of the best rice crops we've seen for quite a while. We are also working on our new Public Works food shelf facility in Vermilion, and the DNR and Big Woods transit buildings are moving forward, not as fast as we would like them to, but they're still moving forward. And administratively, we have had our tribal finance project that Tara mentioned. It has come to an end, the finance project part of it, but they gave us a roadmap. And I want to say chi-miigwech to the Native Governance Center, the CLA, and the University of Minnesota for this wonderful project that cost our tribal band $0. We now, as a part of our roadmap, we have sent out requests for proposals for a new software accounting system, plus incorporating other programs such as the HR department and others. This software project, as Tara mentioned, should be completed by January 1, 2025. We are also updating our strategic plan, our land use plan, working on our carbon credit project, which was assessed just recently because of the lack of snow. It was really worked good for our carbon credit project to be assessed how many carbon credits we will have, and an assessment of our HR department. And we're really being creative with our 105L lease program with the BIA and IHS by submitting a lot of facilities that usually aren't included in 105L leasing, but we're going to push it to the limit as far as we can. This increased funding in 105L leasing will increase programs and services dollars and will be used totally for maintenance and your electric bill and water bill and whatever. It covers all of that because before our programs had to cover that out of their grants. So that'll be very good. Bois Forte was also the first tribe in Indian country to have 2 harm reduction vending machines to hopefully save lives and assist those individuals who are in need of Narcan, fentanyl testing strips, pregnancy and HIV testing kits, socks, underwear, nutritional bars, Aleve, items that they would not have access to without these machines. Indian country has been calling, asking us where we got those machines. Because like I said, we were the first ones, and the tribes really are looking for those to help their tribal members. There's much more that I could talk about, but we also read your comments from last year, so I'm trying to keep my speech short. But it was a busy year for us. What is in the future for Bois Forte? We are in the process of accessing more and more energy funding. We are implementing an energy manager and energy ordinance, and I want to say chi-miigwech to the Fond du Lac Band for their assistance in this and sharing their job descriptions and ordinances with us. Accessing more infrastructure funds, climate resiliency and green energy funding, possible solar farms, and increasing solar usage with our buildings and homes. We want to do more land acquisition. Get the tax forfeited land within our boundaries, get the first right of refusal on that. Elderly housing, food sovereignty, much needed mental health services on and off the reservation, such as in Virginia, Duluth, and the Minneapolis Urban Office. There's a lot more to do and accomplish, but I want to take this time to talk about language and culture as my other council members have done before I finish. We all know that our culture heals. I have seen and heard more of our young people and other adults who are in recovery from drugs and alcohol. Some have turned to our culture, some have not. But as long as they are in recovery, that is most important. I have seen them reach out through social media, speaking publicly on how great sobriety is and how it has changed their lives for the better. Our young people are working on other ways to teach our people the cultural ways, getting involved in planning of these cultural events, language tables, and apprenticeship programs. These young people are trying to bring back our communities back to how we used to be. Supportive, loving, helping, and just taking care of each other. To all of you out there in recovery doing this wonderful work, and those who aren't, I commend you. As a tribal government, our programs can give you those tools needed to move forward with your sobriety. But it is ultimately up to you. I want you all to know that there is nothing to be ashamed of, and that we care about you, and it's never too late. As a community, and when I say community, I've heard tribal leaders state, tribes are communal, and we are. But as a community, we need to embrace and come together. I am being honest in stating that the tribal government needs to do much better in community engagement. One way I believe to do that is to have a family and cultural resource center in Nett Lake and Vermilion, because I see these services being offered in our urban offices. Bois Forte Tribal Council had a chance to visit our brothers and sisters at the Lower Sioux Tribe and visit their incubator project. This project brought elders, youth, adults, families, and community to a place where you can bead, make pottery, quilting, sewing, a computer lab, recording studio, and youth center all in one location. They also have a community sweat lodge for anyone to use. Tiny homes for their elders. Hempcrete homes with an R30 factor, and they're the only tribe that I know that's using hempcrete. A handicap ramp and stand at their powwow grounds so those in wheelchairs can go up the ramp and then sit and watch the powwow instead of having to sit on the ground or whatever, and it's covered with shade so they don't have to sit in the sun. They have an immersion early childhood program and much more. But they also engage their community with yearly surveys asking for their input on various items or issues that they have each year. Pidamaya to Lower Sioux for sharing this valuable information. Our tribes in Minnesota have a great relationship together. We share our ideas with each other, and we work as one, which is great strength, because we all know there is power in numbers. Last but not least is diversifying our economic development. And by doing that, I'm talking about what Shane mentioned, is our surveys that we put out for the marijuana or cannabis business. I am proud to say that today is the last day for those surveys, but the amazing response we had approximately 700 responses to that survey. 700, that's a lot. We don't even get that many voters during tribal elections. But thank you. Thank you so much for that. Well, I'm just being honest. Thank you so much for that, because the Tribal Council put into place a resolution that says you guys decide what businesses we want to do. Should not make that determination. It's up to you guys. It's your business. It's not ours. And I'm happy to say you passed it. We will be going into the cannabis industry. So, Chimigwich. We will be working diligently on this, and I know that there are those that said no, but you know, we can't please everybody as tribal leaders, we know that. But I also just want to say, everybody travel safe home, And thank you all for coming to the 2024 State of the Band. I hope that was fast enough. I tried to put everything and condense it. But I really like to see, I'm glad everybody came. It's nice to see friends and family and those that have traveled from the cities and all over. So enjoy yourselves at the 2024 State of the Band. And Chi-Miigwech, I appreciate it. Thank you. One joke. This looks kind of thick, but I had to show my table. Look how big that print is. That's how you know. I'm an elder, okay? I can't see as well, so thank you very much.
Dinner? Just one song and then we'll have dinner? Two. Okay. All right, everyone. So we are going to do a chief song. So please, Tribal Council, can you please come up and yep, no, just Bois Forte Tribal Council. Can you just please stand where Rose is at?
All the other tribal leaders as well that are here.
Oh, all the other tribal leaders that are present, can you please come up for the chief song? We'll do a chief song, and then we're going to do a flag song, and then we'll get into dinner. Or chief song, oh, excuse me, chief song, then the traveling song. Okay. Oh. Again, thank you to the drum group and the honor guard. So on the menu tonight is pot roast, baked chicken, and all the sides. We invite our elders to first go grab a dish. There's 2 sides, 2 tables. If you need assistance, please just raise your hand. We have senior management here willing to help elders or anybody that need of assistance. After elders, then anybody please make a dish. My apologies. Dinner will be served in 2 minutes, so just hold on for 2 more minutes. Yep. What's that? I can't hear you. And thank you for everybody that attended live.